Want to know the background on one of the most controversial flying videos I've ever posted? Hey guys, my name is Katie. I'm a professional pilot. I fly the Pilatus PC-12 for work, and I post the joys of flying on my Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And every time I post a video of me landing the PC-12, there are a lot of comments about how I hold the throttle, which in the Pilatus world we call the PCL. So I have a full-length video here that I've taken in flight that shows me holding the throttle, explaining it. I also share some tips and tricks that I have picked up from flying in Pilatus world for the past couple years. So that's this video. I know as pilots, we love to discuss technique and share insight so that we can all learn and become better aviators. So go ahead and give this a watch. Let me know your thoughts and put your input in the comments.
I'm gonna get through this turbulence real quick.
Yeah.
It seems like today we have like pockets of turbulence.
Yeah. This is all light though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it ain't no thing. When you're going through turbulence, you just keep your hand on controls and...
I do. A lot of people don't. They just like sit there. But I try to study accidents from similar, like from the Pilatus, And most of the Pilatus accidents are loss of control in flight from turbulence. It seems to be starting from turbulence. So I have my feet and hands on the controls during turbulence, because in turbulence the trim's going to be trimming through the turbulence,
K 117, I have you radar
let's say we're in heavier turbulence and we get a trim runaway. Well, I'm going to get an oral that's going to say trim runaway, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know why this is a guarded switch, because that needs to be an unguarded switch. But, which they figured out with the NGX, they unguarded it because they're like, that one you might want to get to faster,
Yeah.
So
all aircraft,
when I'm in turbulence, especially if I'm in IMC and turbulence, I just put my hands and feet on the controls.
There's too many of you to switch individually. So if you are flight level 350 or above, contact Salt Lake Center 132.42. Your frequency will be 132.42 and ident. So just ident and go over to 3242 if you will.
I've never heard that before.
Huh. Interesting.
I wonder if that's just how busy the controllers are, like how limited they are.
Either that or maybe it's like some kind of radio gremlin
like
where...
an outage.
Yeah, that frequency isn't working in those altitudes.
Yeah.
Salt Lake Delta 942 level 330. Delta 942 Salt Lake Center.
Where it's not reaching the distance that
yeah.
it do, so they're just switching to a contingency.
So yeah, anyways, we were talking about, so a lot of the audio of like those, like the most recent accident was a PC-12 in Wyoming, which is actually very close to where we are right now. This is the front range. This area is notorious for turbulence and severe mountain wave. So it seems like those people got into some sort of, they were passing a front, so they were in turbulence, they were in the weather, and then they said on the radio that they were experiencing a problem with the autopilot. We don't know what that was, but it could have been just that the autopilot was trying to trim it through the turbulence, and at some point the autopilot will kick off if the turbulence is too much. So the autopilot will kick off, and it'll hand you the plane back just trimmed to all. It's like you get your hands on it and you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what happened with that, but that's why I will keep my hands on it. And I have had multiple times, like on approaches or like whatever, where it is really turbulent, where the autopilot starts to like really aggressively do something, and I will just click it off real quick and just like, okay, chill out, and then turn it back on. Because if it gets way out a parameter, it's going to now kick off the autopilot, and then you're like somewhere weird with the trim and your flight attitude. So that's just how I handle turbulence, and even in light turbulence, I just kind of do that because it's just a habit.
And you keep your right hand down at the rest, because you don't want to be resting it on the power.
I tend to put my hand on the cursor control device. It's just like a comfort thing. I could also kind of put here if I do need to be making power changes, but I don't really control the PCL, the power control ever much from the top, which has been very controversial in my videos, because the reason it's controversial is because of our toga switch, which is a go-around switch, which is under my left thumb right now. So when you're flying an approach, if you need to execute a missed approach, you hit the minimums, you need to go toga, power, nav, autopilot, or, you know, fly, right? So it's, and a missed approach is a high workload. I didn't even say in that gear and flaps, so you're going toga, power, nav, gear, flaps, autopilot, you know, you're doing all these different things. And so people, when I fly with the PCL, I hold the bottom because it's much easier to make control inputs. Some people think that's bad because they're like, well, how do you reach the toga? And I'm like, number one, it's very easy to reach. It's pretty much the same distance to reach the toga. Like, it literally is right there and I'm touching it. Like, I don't know what their point is, you know? Number two, like when it's real quick to move, like if I need to. And also, I articulate from the base, so I can just go full power and push the button, you know? It's like not a problem at all. Like, I don't know how short everybody's thumbs are, but mine are fine, you know?
Well, it's also muscle memory, like, it's like anything. I mean, like, take shooting, for example. I can outshoot the vast majority of most shooters who have an outside and external holster with my internal holster, because I've trained so many times with my internal inside the waistband holster that I'm just fast in that moment. So, I mean, you're probably, if you had your hand up top, you would probably actually be a little bit slower than the condition that you're used to having that.
I've also, it's like, okay, so if you're doing a missed approach, how fast do you really need to go? And I'm not saying you need to go slow, but I'm saying if you're needing to go, like, if you're needing to rush that, like, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. Power up. As you're powering up, just hit the toga, then hit nav, then bring your gear up, then hit your yaw damp, then turn your lights off, then get your flaps up when you're through 100 knots, you know? Like, all of that, me just saying that and doing it took probably 6 seconds.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's about the speed you need to do it anyway. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Port of 372, contact flight center 132.42.
I do, like, when I'm actually in the round out, I do switch and I go full power or power all the way back. Then when I'm on the ground, I do keep my hand on the top so I can the beta. I don't know. It's literally never been an issue. I've done so many missed approaches and it's like, I don't understand like the idea, but people are mad about it, you know?
Yeah. Why are you missing your approaches?
Citation 45 Mike Lima, Salt Lake, welcome to clock 3156.
Sometimes the weather's a little worse than it said it was, you know?
Oh, okay.
That's why you go in, you're like, it said it was 1800 RVR, and like, I don't see anything, so I'm gonna go miss.
45 Mike Lima, 3156, citation 45 Mike Lima.